Happy February, patron friends. I am so excited not only about our month of songs, I have 4 great songs picked out, and we're talking all about self-love, but what I'm most excited about is the practice that we're going to start. I decided that we'll go ahead and start this fully tomorrow. I know today is the 1st. I honestly let the month of January sail on by, and I wasn't a very good manager of my time to get this video done for you by today, so I do apologize for that. I wanted to show you not only what we're going to be creating, but then I want to go through the products and then just really tell you what the process is and then create 2 pages for you today. Super excited. So this video may be a little long, but so worth it. I apologize for this glare. I'm trying to get this glare off that book. There we go. You will see that I am using a Simple Abundance book. I got it at a yard sale for $1. I still have the tag on there. I love this book. I already have a copy, and so this is just one that I found that I knew I wanted to do something with it. As you can see, lots of yumminess going on there. So using a book for art journaling is something that I love to do. I just started doing this probably in the last few years, and it's my favorite way to art journal. This particular form of art journaling, I am calling it brave intuitive art journaling. I don't know that there is a name for it, but I will tell you that it's messy, lots of layers, it goes very fast, and it's all about being intuitive. So I'm going to just go through and show you what I have done. Now, you might look at this at first and kind of go, oh, wait, that just looks like a mess. Let me tell you, girls, this has been such a therapy for me. I can see myself doing this style of art journaling every single day for the next year, maybe for the rest of my life. It is so freeing. It is so fun. And it's just an interesting way to use up your images, your little bits, start making marks. This journal, I have a plan for this. I want to fill this up this year, and I think what it's going to do is it's going to get me to start thinking outside the box. This is just a journal for you to practice, okay? To practice what you're doing, to practice making marks, to practice using different bits of paper from patterns, to practice doing messy paints, to practice using different colors. I'm using colors in this journal that I don't normally use on most of the pages, which is dark browns and black. I'm using more black than I ever have, and I'm loving the results. I'm also doing a lot of finger painting in here, and so these are my pages. I absolutely love them. I can't wait to make some pages for you. These are the last 2 that I did, and just love, love, love them. All right, let me show you what you're going to need for this. Obviously the book. Then you're going to need brushes. Let me show you my favorite brushes to use in this kind of journaling. Absolutely these brushes with the points. Why? Because they can go loosely over the page. You can just have so much fun with these. You can also use a flat brush, maybe a bigger one, a smaller one, and then I've got a fine brush. You're gonna need some colors. When you do this kind of journaling, girls, there is no need, don't have your whole arsenal of colors out. Just pick a few, and I'm encouraging you with this art journaling method to use colors that you normally do not use. So if you have a lot of acrylic paints, let's say you've bought a set, there are paints you've never used, grab those. For me, I am using brown, this golden yellow, black. I highly recommend the black. I just don't ever use black, and I'm loving the way it's looking in my journal. The other color I'm absolutely needing now is this Sun-Kissed Peach. It is a super light, almost a flesh tone color, but I love the way it looks in my journal. I'm also grabbing today some bright pops of color because I do want to have some color in there. So I have got some green sprays and a bright pink spray. I'm also using Gelato's various colors because I do like to have pops of color in there. And then I've also got my favorite blue, with my gouache today. My point of showing you all of these is that you can use just about anything in these Brave Intuitive books. The other best friend of mine are my Stabilos, and these are perhaps the most fun thing that I use in my Brave Intuitive journal. And then of course I have all of these wonderful Stabilos as well. So much fun to play with. All right. You can use the scribble stick crayons too, girls, if you have those. So, okay. Here's what you're gonna need as far as images and paper and things like that go for your journal. You're going to want to grab a basket or some kind of bin, drawer, anything like that to put papers in. And you're going to want to do that before you start this journal because, and you'll see why here in a minute. This is a very fast process. So this is a type of journal that, you know, when we're maybe creating for our Being Me challenge, we're thinking about it. We're thinking about, I know, okay, Monica, I'm going to use you as an example. How you use the blue jeans. I loved how you did that and how you wrote on the back and did the blue jean in the center. So you actually thought about that, and that was something that you kind of planned out in your mind, right? This journal, when you look at it, you will see, right, that it is all about very fast layering. Okay, so if you will see all these little bits of paper that I have, book paper, you're definitely going to want book paper, images. This is the Stabilo pencil, how that looks. I just sprayed water on that and then took that Stabilo. Love that. But this is all about layering. Layer, 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 layer. Okay, this is about letting go and getting rid of the thought process that you have to have everything look perfect, that you have to plan everything out. This is just all about being intuitive and just start going with it. When I create these pages, I find myself, I do the gesso first, then I do the background with the paints, and then I just start placing little bits and pieces of paper, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I think I'm going to add some paint. And so then I'll start making big circles of paint. And then as my page develops, I go, oh, it might be kind of fun to make these circles with my Stabilo, or it might be fun, you know, to make a circle around that. This is all about just doing whatever comes to your mind. And so you're going to need your papers already ready. And so I would suggest, I just got this big basket, I already had it. Just start grabbing papers. If you have book paper, if you have, I had a bunch of old pattern paper from old patterns that my cousin Missy sent me. They have been really awesome in these books. I have a bunch of collage fodder type paper that I had created a long time ago and that I just painted on. That's one thing too. You can have some fun making some papers. I made this on copy paper. You know, I'm using a lot of the Dina Wakley collage papers in these journals and absolutely loving it. I have a lot of just different things. I have graph paper. I'm going to show you my graph paper. It's just plain graph paper, and then you can doodle on it or write on it or do whatever you want to once it's on the page. But that's what this basket is filled with. It's also filled with a few bigger magazine images that I want to use. What I am also doing with this journal is, so I'm going to show you an example. Okay. So let's say I have this magazine page. So lots of awesome women on here. And so in fact, I think I'll keep this out and use this on one of my pages and show you what I'm going to do with it. So I'll do that in a minute. So we'll just keep moving on. Okay, let's see. I've also got a bin here with my Dina Wakley tissue paper. So if you have tissue paper or napkins or something different like that that you think might look really fun in your journal, trust me, it will. Go ahead and have a separate bin for that. I love Dina Wakley. As you can see, I have all of her collage papers, and they are just so much fun to use. And I just found another one that I think I want to use to show you as an example. Girls, this is just a form of journaling I have not had this much fun using and I honestly cannot tell you when. I am just having the biggest time. I love it. I've also got some fun pops of color with some old wrapping paper, so that's an idea. The idea with this journal too is just to use little bits and pieces that you have. Don't go out and buy anything. This is all about using up what you have. You can use tags. You can use, like, this is some paper that I've stamped a long time ago. So I could take this, rip it, I'll show you what I'll do with it, and put this in my journal. Otherwise, I might just throw this away thinking, oh, I don't know if I'll use these. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to use them today. So this is about using our bits and pieces. The last thing that I want to have all ready for my journal is I want to have a bin full of just images. So this is just something that I've created a long time ago. This is full of a lot of vintage images because I tend to like vintage. This is full of some of my stuff that I created for our group. This is full of lots of those Tim Holtz photo strips because I love Tim Holtz photo strips. This is full of just old magazine ladies that I have found. Just all kinds of fun things. We're going to gesso this page. I just have the Simply acrylic gesso from Walmart. This is about $10 for this one, and it will last you quite a while. You don't need a ton of gesso, friends, on there, but you will need some. So I'm going to take my old gift card that I have and just going to go over what this gesso does for this book. Is number one, it's going to make the page a lot stronger, right? Because we need to do that. These are thin pages. Most books you're going to find are going to be thin. And then it's also going to allow us to do lots of fun layers with paint. The one main ingredient that I forgot to tell you about is, let me show you. Okay, perfect. I like how that turned out. Is, friends, you are going to need a big old thing of water. This is messy. This is going to be messy. This journal is all about just letting go, being free, and the water is going to help you do that. All right, so I usually start painting on this before the gesso is completely dry because I'm going to really, I like the way that the gesso will mix with the paint. And so I'm just going to start. I find myself a lot of the time starting with this gold color. I'm really loving this color. This is by Apple Barrel. It's Golden Sunset. And I'm just going to squeeze some. I've got my little paint tray here. Okay. I'll move this over here so you can see it. Then I'm going to really get this brush wet. Okay. Stick it in there. I'm going to really get it wet, girls, and just start. I'm just going to start. Getting the black out and the blue. I'm just going to use that same paintbrush, put more water on it, and I'm going to start getting some black in there. Black is a color I never, ever would have thought that I would have enjoyed using in my journals, but this is different. This is different. As you can see, I'm just literally taking and doing those big brush strokes, lots of water. Now granted, we're going to be covering a lot of this up, right? I don't do any 2-page spreads in this one. I just do one, but you can definitely do the 2. So I don't necessarily want the same colors on each one, but I tend to kind of do, and then I'm kind of just mixing. I'm gonna do one color that's a little bit different on this one, and I think I'll do some green. Again, using that same paintbrush. This is my favorite paintbrush, and just kind of okay, that's all the paint I'm going to lay down. And I might do, in the wetness, I kind of like to do the gelato, because the gelato is, again, just let yourself go. Let yourself go, girls. It's all about being free. I like to have paper towels on hand, because the paper towels, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go over and just kind of blot and white, and then it kind of takes some of that paint off. But I like that. I like that look a lot. Okay. Okay, my pages are going to be ready to go. All right, friends, it's dry, ready to go. One more sip of my coffee, and I am ready to rock and roll. Okay, so you have all of your supplies around you, okay? You're gonna need an Elmer's glue stick or something like that. That's all you're gonna need. Have your paint around you. The other thing I was gonna show you is what I've been filling this book with, is I've been wanting a way to use up these Tim Holtz ideology stickers. They are so fun to use in this journal. So this is what I'm using in this journal. And then one more thing I just grabbed, just in case, I have my little bin of all my little bits. Doesn't mean I'm gonna use them, but there's a good chance I will. Okay, ready to go. So this is all about being brave, being intuitive. I'm not gonna probably do a lot of talking here. I'm just going to do a lot of ripping, tearing, and going. I just want you to see the process.